You can run, but you can't hide. You can close the door, turn off the lights, change your name, change your city, but you cannot escape the hand of God. When He calls, when He chooses, when He puts His hands on your life, there is no hiding place big enough, no distraction strong enough, no excuse convincing enough to outrun His will. Some of you have been running for a long time. Running from purpose, running from your calling, running from responsibility. You've been dodging, delaying, and denying, but deep down you know God is after you. And when God sets His sights on you, when He marks you for something greater, you can try to ignore it, but it will chase you down. It will show up in your dreams. It will press on your heart. It will disturb your comfort until you surrender. So let me ask you today, how long will you run? How long will you wrestle against what's already been decided in heaven? Because no matter how far you go, you will always run straight into the arms of the one who created you. God's call is not an option, it's an assignment. It's not a suggestion, it's not a polite invitation, it's not a maybe if you feel like it kind of thing. When God calls you, it is a divine assignment placed on your life before you were even born. You didn't stumble into this. You didn't wake up one day and decide to be chosen. God chose you. And when God chooses you, you don't get to negotiate your way out of it. You don't get to sit down at the table and say, God, can we talk about this? Can I just do a little less? Can I push this back a few years? No, because when He calls, His word does not return void. What He speaks over you will come to pass, whether you like it or not. Some of you have been living life as if you have a choice in the matter. You've been treating your calling like an option on a menu, picking and choosing what parts you're comfortable with, trying to sidestep the parts that feel too heavy, too demanding, too much for your comfort zone. But hear me today. This is not about your comfort. This is about your destiny. This is about the reason you were placed on this earth. This is about the souls connected to your obedience, the lives that will be changed because you finally stop resisting and step fully into what God has called you to do. You see, the problem with running from God is that you can never outrun what's already inside you. No matter how far you go, no matter how much you try to bury it, your calling will always speak to you. It will show up in the quiet moments when no one else is around. It will whisper to you in the middle of the night. It will tug at your spirit when you're trying to live life on your own terms. And every time you try to silence it, every time you try to push it aside, God will remind you, this is what you were made for. Some of you are struggling right now, not because you're incapable, not because you're unworthy, but because you are resisting what has already been written about you. You feel restless, you feel unfulfilled, you feel like something is missing because you were never meant to live outside of God's will. Your life wasn't designed for mediocrity. Your destiny wasn't designed for small thinking and playing it safe. There is greatness inside of you, and you keep trying to deny it. You keep trying to hide it behind excuses, behind distractions, behind fear. But God's call does not depend on your feeling. It does not depend on your excuses. It does not depend on your fears. It depends on God's decision, and He already decided. So the question is not, am I called? The question is, when will I stop running from the call? Because you can run all you want, but you will never be at peace until you say yes to what God has already placed in you. You will never feel whole. You will never feel settled. You will never feel fully alive until you ally yourself with the reason you were created. So how much longer will you fight what's already been set in place? How much longer will you resist the very thing that will bring you fulfillment, purpose, and power? God is not asking for your permission. He is waiting for your surrender. And the moment you surrender, everything in your life will shift. Running only delays the inevitable. You can try to outrun God, try to avoid His plan, try to live life on your own terms, but sooner or later you will have to face what you were born for. Some of you have been running for years, running from responsibility, running from purpose, running from the truth of who you are. You've convinced yourself that if you keep moving fast enough, if you stay busy enough, if you fill your life with enough distractions, maybe, just maybe, you won't have to deal with the weight of what God has placed on you. But no matter how far you run, God's plan will always be waiting for you at the finish line. You think you're escaping it, but you're just delaying it. You're postponing your own greatness. You're pushing back your own breakthrough. Every step in the wrong direction, every detour, every excuse, it doesn't cancel what God has for you. It just makes the journey harder. You see, God is patient. He will let you run. He will let you try to figure things out on your own. He will let you exhaust yourself chasing after things that were never meant for you. And then when you're tired, when you're worn out, when you finally realize that nothing else satisfies, He will still be there waiting for you to surrender. Some of you are in that season right now. You've been running for so long, but deep down, you know it's not working. You've tried everything to fill the void. You've chased money, relationships, success, approval, but no matter what you do, you still feel empty. You still feel like something is missing. That's because you were never meant to live outside of your purpose. No amount of distractions, no level of success, no earthly achievement can replace what God has called you to do. And let me tell you something, running doesn't make the calling go away. It doesn't erase what God has spoken over your life. It doesn't change the fact that you were created for something greater than the life you're trying to settle for. Some of you are fighting battles you were never meant to fight. Struggling in areas where you were never meant to struggle, all because you're resisting what was designed for you. You're wearing yourself out, and God is saying, why are you running from the very thing that will set you free? Jonah tried to run from his assignment. He thought if he went in the opposite direction, he could escape what God had called him to do. But God has a way of bringing you back to the place you were always meant to be. You can take the long way around. You can go through unnecessary struggles. You can try to do it on your own, but eventually you will still have to do what God has called you to do. So why delay the inevitable? Why put yourself through unnecessary pain, unnecessary struggle, unnecessary heartbreak? Obedience is always the faster route. Surrender is always the way to peace. The longer you run, the more time you waste. The longer you run, the more you rob yourself of the blessings that come with being in alignment with God's will. Every delay is a delay in your destiny. Every step in the wrong direction is a step away from the blessings that were waiting for you all along. So I ask you today, how much longer will you run? How many more years will you spend avoiding what God has already settled in heaven? Because at the end of the day, you will still have to come back to where you were always meant to be. The sooner you surrender, the sooner your life will start to make sense. The sooner you stop running, the sooner you will find peace. The sooner you say, yes, Lord, the sooner everything will begin to fall into place. Disobedience will lead to storms, not because God is cruel, not because He enjoys watching you struggle, but because He loves you too much to let you drift away from your purpose. When God has placed a calling on your life, when He has given you an assignment, when He has chosen you for something greater, He will not sit back and let you throw it all away. And when you try to run, when you try to resist, when you choose your own way over His way, life will remind you that you are out of alignment. Some of you are in a storm right now, not because of what the enemy did, but because of what you refused to do. You've been blaming everything and everyone, your circumstances, your past, the people around you. But deep down, you know that God told you to move and you stayed. You know that God told you to let go and you held on. You know that God told you to step into something greater and you ran in the opposite direction. And now everything around you feels unstable. Everything feels chaotic. Everything feels like it's falling apart because you are outside of God's will. Jonah ran from his assignment, and what happened? A storm broke out, but not just any storm, a storm so violent, so relentless that it started affecting the people around him. Do you realize that your disobedience doesn't just affect you? That when you refuse to walk in what God has called you to do, you can bring unnecessary storms into your home, your relationships, your finances, your peace. Some of the struggles you're facing right now are not the devil's attack. They are the consequences of avoiding what you were created for. God is not punishing you. He is trying to wake you up. He is trying to get your attention. He is trying to shake you out of the comfort zone that is slowly killing your destiny. Some of you are fighting against the very storm that God sent to reroute you. You're trying to pray your way out of a situation that was never meant to destroy you, but to redirect you. That storm is not your enemy, it's your lifeline. And listen, the storm will not calm down until you surrender. Jonah stayed in the storm until he admitted, I am the reason this is happening. Some of you need to be honest with yourselves today. You need to stop blaming external forces and acknowledge that you have been running, that you have been ignoring the voice of God, that you have been doing everything except what you were created to do. And until you make that decision, until you surrender, things will remain in chaos. But here's the beauty of it. The moment you surrender, the storm will shift. The moment you stop resisting, the moment you say, yes, Lord, I will do what you've called me to do, peace will return. Clarity will return. Doors that were closed will start to open. Favor that was blocked will start flowing. Because the storm was never meant to break you. It was meant to bring you back to the place you were always meant to be. So the question is, how much longer will you fight against what God has already decided? How much longer will you battle against the storm when all you have to do is surrender? The wind is not your enemy. The waves are not your enemy. Your resistance is the real problem. And the moment you lay it down, the moment you let go of your own way and embrace His way, the storm will settle. And you will finally see the path that was waiting for you all along. You can run, but you cannot hide. There is no place too far, no pit too deep, no darkness too thick that can separate you from what God has spoken over your life. Some of you have spent years trying to escape, trying to disappear into a life that feels safer, easier, more convenient. You've convinced yourself that if you just stay out of sight, if you just blend in, if you just bury that calling deep enough, maybe, just maybe, God will forget. Maybe He'll pass you by and call someone else. Maybe He can slip through unnoticed. But let me tell you something. God does not forget what He has placed in you. He does not misplace His anointing. He does not revoke His assignments just because you're scared. You see, when God calls you, He calls all of you. He calls your gifts, your potential, your strengths. But He also calls your flaws, your fears, your insecurities. He already factored in every excuse you would make, every doubt you would carry, every moment of hesitation, and He still chose you. He still spoke a word over your life. He still set you apart so you can run, you can hide, you can pretend you don't hear Him. But what God has placed in you will never leave you alone. Jonah thought he could escape. He thought he could buy a ticket, board a ship, and disappear into the distance. He thought he could outmaneuver the Almighty, dodge the divine, and slip out of sight. But what he didn't realize was that you cannot escape the presence of God, because His presence is everywhere. You can change locations, but you cannot change your purpose. You can step out of alignment, but you cannot step out of His reach. Some of you have been trying to hide behind distractions. You stay busy. You fill your schedule. You pour yourself into relationships, into work, into anything that will keep you from dealing with the weight of what's inside of you. But no matter how much you try to drown it out, that calling will keep resurfacing. It will show up in the quiet moments, in the stillness, in the places where you thought you were finally free from it. Some of you have been hiding behind fear. You tell yourself you're not ready. You tell yourself you don't have what it takes. You convince yourself that someone else would do it better, that you're too broken, too flawed, too imperfect to carry out God's plan. But God never needed you to be perfect. He just needed you to be willing. He doesn't call it perfect. He perfects the called. And everything you think disqualifies you is exactly what makes you the right person for the job. Some of you have been hiding behind comfort. You've built a life that is predictable, manageable, under control. You've carved out a routine that keeps you feeling safe. But purpose is never found in comfort. Calling is never fulfilled in convenience. God will disrupt what you thought was stability just to pull you into what you were created for. Hiding does not change destiny. Ignoring does not erase assignment. Pretending does not cancel what God has spoken. And the longer you hide, the more restless you will become. You will never feel at peace because you cannot run from what is already inside of you. The truth is, God already knows where you are. He knows every thought, every excuse, every fear. And yet he is still calling you. He is still waiting for you to stop running, to stop hiding, to stop pretending, and finally step into the reason you were placed on this earth. The question is, how much longer will you resist? How much longer will you fight what was meant to set you free? How much longer will you stay hidden when God is calling you into the light? Because no matter where you go, no matter how deep you try to bury it, the call of God will always find you. God has a way of bringing you back to where you were always meant to be. You may take a detour. You may wander off the path. You may spend years running in the wrong direction, but when God has a purpose for your life, He will orchestrate circumstances to bring you right back to where you were supposed to be all along. You can try to outrun it, but you will only find yourself going in circles. You can try to ignore it, but life will keep pulling you toward it. You can try to reject it, but the very thing you're running from is the thing that will give you peace. Jonah thought he had made it. He had a plan. He bought his ticket, got on his ship, and believed that if he just went far enough, if he just left behind everything that reminded him of his calling, maybe he could escape it. Maybe he could disappear into a new life, a different story, something easier, something that didn't require so much from him. But God does not abandon his plans because of human resistance. So God sent a storm that disrupted Jonah's escape, a storm that threw his plans into chaos, a storm that forced him to confront the truth. He was never going to be able to run from what God had ordained for him. Some of you are in that place right now. You've been running, you've been avoiding, you've been resisting, and life has started to remind you that you are out of alignment. Doors keep closing, plans keep falling apart, nothing seems to be working the way you thought it would, and you're wondering why. You're frustrated, you're tired, you're questioning why things aren't coming together. But deep down, you know that the reason things feel unsettled is because you are out of place. God will let you try it your way, but He will not let you succeed outside of His will. He will let you run, but He will not let you prosper in the wrong place. He will allow some things to fall apart, not to hurt you, but to redirect you back to where you belong. Some of the disappointments you've experienced were not rejections, they were redirections. Some of the setbacks you faced were not failures, they were course corrections. Some of the things that didn't work out were not because you weren't good enough, but because God loves you too much to let you settle for something less than what He intended for you. And then just like Jonah, you find yourself in a place you never expected to be. Jonah thought he was taking control of his own life, only to end up in the belly of a great fish, isolated, trapped, stripped of his own plans, with nothing left but time to reflect. Some of you are in that place right now. Life has put you in a position where you can no longer run, no longer distract yourself, no longer pretend that you don't hear the voice of God. You are in a season of isolation, a season where it feels like everything has stopped, a season where you are face to face with the truth that no matter how far you tried to go, you still belong to God. And when Jonah was in that dark place, when he had nothing left to hold on to, when every plan of his had failed, he surrendered. He realized that there was no life, no peace, no purpose outside of what God had for him. And the moment he surrendered, the moment he said, God, I will go where you send me, that fish spit him out. That confinement ended. That season of being stuck came to a close. Because God was not punishing Jonah, He was preparing him. Some of you feel stuck right now because God is waiting on your surrender. The moment you stop fighting, the moment you stop resisting, the moment you finally say, yes, Lord, I will do what you have called me to do, watch how fast things shift. Watch how quickly doors begin to open. Watch how peace begins to return. Because the struggle is not in the assignment. The struggle is in the resistance. The weight you feel is not the calling itself, it's the weight of trying to resist what you were created for. So you can keep running or you can finally surrender. But know this, no matter how far you go, no matter how long you delay it, when God has chosen you, He will always bring you back to where you were meant to be. You may try to run, but God will place you in a situation where you have no choice but to listen. You may cover your ears, drown out the call with distractions. Busy yourself with other pursuits, but when God wants your attention, He will have it. He doesn't always do it gently. Sometimes He has to strip away the noise, remove the options, take away everything you used to run to until all that's left is Him and His voice. Jonah ran, but he could not escape the reach of God. When the storm didn't wake him up, when the ship couldn't take him far enough, when he still refused to turn around, God prepared a great fish. Now, I need you to understand something. The fish wasn't punishment, it was protection. Some of you think that because life has swallowed you up, because you feel stuck, because you are trapped in a place you never expected to be, that it means God is against you. But what if the thing you call in punishment is actually the very thing that's keeping you from being destroyed? The fish was never meant to kill Jonah. The fish was sent to preserve him. The storm could have drowned him. The sea could have taken his life. But God, in His mercy, provided a way to keep Jonah while He worked on Jonah. Some of you are in a season where it feels like life has swallowed you whole. You feel stuck, you feel isolated, you feel like you can't move forward, but have you considered that maybe, just maybe, this place is not meant to break you, but to protect you while God prepares you? Jonah was in the belly of that fish for 3 days. 3 days of darkness, 3 days of being completely cut off from the outside world, 3 days with nothing but silence and his own thoughts. And in that place, Jonah had no choice but to listen. God will allow you to get to a place where there are no more distractions, where the people you used to run to can't reach you, where the things that used to comfort you no longer work. Because when everything else is stripped away, that's when you finally hear Him clearly. Some of you are in that place right now. You feel like everything around you has gone silent. The doors you used to walk through have shut. The people who used to support you have disappeared. The distractions that used to keep you occupied no longer satisfy. And you're wondering, why does it feel like I'm stuck? But maybe you're not stuck. Maybe you're in divine isolation. Maybe God has placed you in a season where He is removing all the noise so that you can finally hear what He has been saying all along. Jonah had to spend time in that dark, uncomfortable, isolated place before he was ready to move forward. Some of you are waiting for the next season, but you haven't yet surrendered in this one. You're asking God for the next step, but you haven't been obedient in the step He already gave you. And until you surrender, until you listen, until you say, yes, Lord, I will go where you send me, you will remain in this holding place. But the moment Jonah surrendered, the fish released him. The moment he repented, the moment he said, God, I will do what you call me to do, he was set free, because the fish was never meant to hold him forever. It was only meant to hold him until he was ready. Some of you are waiting for breakthrough, waiting for freedom, waiting for things to change, but God is waiting for your surrender. The moment you stop running, the moment you stop resisting, the moment you stop trying to do it your way and say, God, I trust you, I will follow you, I will step into what you've called me to, that is the moment everything shifts. So, don't despise the place you're in. Don't curse the season of isolation, because what feels like a prison might actually be the thing that is saving you. What feels like darkness might be the place where God is protecting you. What feels like punishment might actually be the preparation you need before you step into the calling that has been waiting for you all along. You can run, but when God has His hand on you, He will always bring you to a place where you have no choice but to listen. And when you finally listen, when you finally say yes, when you finally surrender, the very thing that held you will have no choice but to let you go. You can try to ignore it. You can try to pretend it's not there, but the calling on your life will never go away. God's purpose for you is bigger than your doubts, bigger than your fears, and bigger than your excuses. No matter how far you run, no matter how many times you try to drown out His voice with distractions, His calling will keep calling you back. You might feel like you can escape it for a while. You might think you can live life the way you want, stay in your comfort zone, and avoid the uncomfortable truth that there's something more for you. But that's just it. There is more for you. And no matter how much you try to walk away from it, it will always find you. There's no point in running anymore, because God's call is relentless. The more you resist, the more restless you become. The more you try to avoid it, the more unsettled your soul feels. It's like trying to ignore the air you breathe. It's always there, surrounding you, keeping you alive, even when you don't acknowledge it. The same is true with God's purpose. It's woven into the very fabric of your being. And no matter how many detours you take, you'll never find peace until you walk in it. Some of you are running because you're scared. You're scared of what it will cost. You're scared of what it might require. You're scared of the unknown, scared of failing, scared of leaving behind what you know, even though you know deep down that what you're holding on to is not where your destiny lies. But I need you to hear me. Fear will always try to paralyze you from stepping into your purpose. It will try to convince you that you're not enough, that you're not qualified, that you're not ready. But here's the truth. God does not call the qualified. He qualifies the called. What you don't have, He will provide. What you don't know, He will teach you. What you don't think you can do, He will empower you to do. Some of you are running because you're comfortable. You've built a life that is predictable, manageable, and under control. You know the routine, you know what to expect, and the thought of stepping into something unknown, something that stretches you, something that demands more from you, that scares you more than anything. But comfort has never been the place of greatness. Comfort has never been the place where destiny is fulfilled. God will call you out of your comfort zone. He will shake you out of your routine. He will stretch you beyond what you think is possible. Because the purpose on your life is too important to be confined to a life of comfort. And some of you are running because of disappointment. You've been hurt. You've been let down. You've tried and it didn't work. You stepped out in faith and it didn't turn out the way you expected. So now you're holding back. You're playing it safe. But let me tell you something. Your disappointments are not the end of the story. They are just chapters in a bigger narrative. The Bible says that all things work together for good to those who love God and are called according to His purpose. Your setbacks are not final. Your failures are not permanent. Every mistake, every closed door, every disappointment is part of the story God is writing in your life. And when you surrender, when you let go of the hurt, when you stop allowing past failures to define you, God will redeem it all. You see, running won't protect you. It won't keep you safe. It won't bring you the peace you're searching for, because God's call on your life is relentless, and it will find you no matter where you go. There's no hiding from it. There's no avoiding it. So why keep running? What if you stopped running today? What if you stopped running from your fears, your doubts, your insecurities, your disappointments? What if you took that first step towards what God has been calling you to all along? I know it's not easy. I know it's going to cost you something. I know it's going to require faith, but I promise you this, what God has for you is greater than anything you can imagine. What He has for you will fill you in ways that nothing else ever could. When you walk in the purpose He has for you, you will experience a peace, a joy, and a fulfillment that the world cannot give. You don't have to run anymore. It's time to step into what you were created for. It's time to stop trying to control the outcome and trust God with the journey. When you finally surrender to His plan, you'll discover that what He has for you is far greater than anything you could ever plan for yourself. There are moments in life when the world will try to break you, when people will try to tear you down, when life will hit you with challenges that seem insurmountable. And in those moments, the temptation is to shrink back, to question your worth, to doubt that you have what it takes to survive. But let me tell you something today. The woman who is chosen by God can never be defeated. There is a power in you that the world cannot take away. No weapon formed against you will prosper. The enemy may try to discourage you, to make you feel small, to make you feel like you're not good enough. But God has placed something inside of you that is unstoppable. You are a woman who has been chosen by God, and that means that no matter what you face, no matter how many obstacles come your way, you will stand strong. People will talk about you. They will criticize you. They will try to make you feel like you don't belong, like you're not capable of achieving what you're aiming for. But when God has chosen you, there is nothing they can do to stop you. You are not defined by the opinions of others. You are not limited by what people say about you. You are defined by the power of God that is working in you and through you. It doesn't matter what the world says. It doesn't matter what the enemy whispers in your ear. You are not who they say you are. You are who God says you are. And when God calls you, when he chooses you, he gives you a strength that cannot be shaken. You are unmovable. You are unbreakable. There is a power in you that will make you stand tall in the face of adversity, that will make you rise when others have counted you out. But here's the thing, being chosen by God doesn't mean that you won't face trials. It doesn't mean that life will be easy. In fact, when you are chosen, the battles you face may be even greater. But it also means that the strength and the resilience you need to overcome will be greater than anything you face. God will never call you to something without equipping you with everything you need to succeed. What he has placed inside of you is greater than any obstacle or challenge that will ever come your way. There are moments when you will feel alone, when it feels like the world is against you, when the people who should be supporting you are nowhere to be found. But remember this. When God has chosen you, you are never truly alone. He is with you and he will never leave you. His presence will surround you and his power will carry you. You may walk through the fire, but you will not be burned. You may walk through the storm, but you will not be shaken, because God's power in you is greater than anything this world can throw at you. When people come against you, when they speak lies over you, when they try to bring you down, you can stand firm, knowing that the power of God that is within you will make them regret ever thinking they could defeat you. Because when you are chosen by God, there is nothing that can stand in your way. No attack, no lie, no weapon formed against you will prosper. The enemy may try to defeat you, but he will fail because the power of God is greater than anything he can throw at you. You are a woman who has been called for greatness. A woman who has been chosen for a purpose that no one can take away. You have a destiny that no one can steal from you. And no matter how many times life knocks you down, you will always get back up. Because you are chosen. You are strong, you are powerful, and you are unstoppable. Let me tell you this right now, the world will never be able to defeat you. Not because you are perfect, not because you never struggle, not because you never have doubts, but because the one who has chosen you is greater than anything this world can throw at you. You may face trials, you may face disappointments, but you will never be defeated because God has chosen you for something far greater than any difficulty or challenge you will ever face. So no matter what comes your way, no matter what others may say, you are a woman chosen by God and you cannot be defeated. The victory is already yours. The promise is already fulfilled and the purpose is already secured. Keep standing strong, keep walking in faith, keep moving forward because the best is yet to come. There is a question that many people wrestle with throughout their lives. What happens after we leave this world? The uncertainty, the fear of the unknown, the questions that swirl in the back of our minds can sometimes overwhelm us. Some may think that when this life ends, that's it. The end of the story, the final chapter closed forever. But let me tell you today, if you don't believe in God, you are missing out on the most important truth about what happens after life. And that truth is what will determine your eternity. Life does not end when our bodies die. It's simply the beginning of a new chapter. The choices you make now will shape where you spend forever. You see, God designed us with an eternal purpose in mind, and whether or not we choose to acknowledge it, we are all headed toward eternity. The question is not, will you live forever? Because you will. The question is, where will you spend eternity? And that is a question only you can answer. In a world that constantly seeks answers, and in a culture that tries to convince us that there are multiple paths to truth, the truth is simple. Only one way leads to eternal life. Only one path brings us into relationship with God, and that is through believing in Him and accepting His gift of salvation. Without that belief, without acknowledging the truth of who God is, without surrendering to His plan for your life, you will find yourself lost at the end of this life. Imagine walking through life without ever acknowledging the one who gave you breath, the one who crafted your soul, the one who created you with purpose. If you choose to reject God's offer of eternal life, you are walking in darkness. And that darkness will follow you into eternity. This is not a fear tactic, this is the truth. And the truth is that without God, there is no hope after this life. Without Him, there is no redemption, no second chances, no peace. And if you are living your life as though tomorrow is guaranteed without ever considering where your soul will end up, you are living in danger. You see, life is fragile, and none of us are promised tomorrow. We don't know when our last breath will come. We don't know when our final day will arrive. And without God, when that day comes, we will be left standing before Him. And He will have no choice but to turn us away. That is the eternal consequence of not believing in God's separation from Him forever. But I'm not here to tell you this to scare you. I am here to tell you this because I want you to understand that there is another option. You don't have to be lost. You don't have to live in uncertainty. You don't have to wonder what will happen when this life ends. You can choose life. You can choose God, you can choose eternity with Him. When you believe in God, when you make the decision to accept Him into your heart and life, everything changes. You go from being separated from God, from having no hope for eternity, to being adopted into His family, to having a future that is secure in His presence forever. When you believe, you step into a relationship with the Creator of the universe. And He promises that when your time on earth ends, you will spend eternity with Him in a place of peace, joy, and fulfillment. Think about that. Eternity with God is a gift beyond measure, and it's available to you right now. But it's not a gift that can be taken for granted. It's a choice you have to make, and it's a choice that will affect the rest of your life and your eternity. No one can make that choice for you. Not your parents, not your pastor, not your friends. Only you can make the decision to believe in God, to accept Him into your life, and to trust that He holds your future in His hands. If you choose not to believe, if you choose to walk through life without acknowledging God, you are not just missing out on a relationship with Him, you are missing out on the very thing that will give your life meaning, purpose, and direction. Without God, life is just a series of random events with no greater meaning. But with Him, every moment is filled with purpose. I want you to hear me clearly today. God is calling you. He is calling you to a life of meaning. He is calling you to choose life. He is calling you to believe in Him so that you can experience eternity with Him. It's not about religion. It's not about rules. It's about relationship. It's about choosing to follow the one who made you, the one who loves you, the one who died for you so that you could have eternal life. Don't wait. Don't keep putting it off. Your eternity is too important to ignore. Don't walk through this life without considering the truth of what happens after it. You have a choice to make, and that choice will determine the rest of your eternity. So choose wisely. Choose life. Choose God. And know that when you do, you are making the decision that will change everything now and for eternity. You can try to run. You can try to hide. You can try to pretend that you don't hear Him calling, that you don't feel His presence, that you don't know He's reaching for you. But let me tell you something. You can't outrun God. You can't escape the one who created you, who knows you better than you know yourself, who has been watching over you since the moment you took your first breath. Some people spend their whole lives trying to avoid Him. They fill their days with distractions, with noise, with pursuits that have no eternal value, thinking that if they just stay busy enough, if they just keep moving, maybe they won't have to face the truth. Maybe they won't have to deal with the fact that there's something greater than themselves. But no matter how far they run, no matter how deep they try to bury themselves in the things of this world, God is always there, waiting, watching, calling them back home. Because here's the thing. God is relentless in His love for you. He is not a distant, detached being who has given up on you. He is not sitting back indifferent to the choices you make. He is actively pursuing you, even when you don't realize it. Even when you don't acknowledge it, even when you resist Him with everything in you. You may think you're in control. You may think you have the power to chart your own course, to make your own way, to live life on your own terms. But deep down, you know the truth. There is a pull inside of you that you cannot shake, a whisper that keeps calling your name, a presence that will not let you go. People run from God for many reasons. Some run because they're afraid of surrender, afraid of what it might mean to truly trust Him, afraid that if they give Him control, they will lose something they don't want to let go of. Others run because they are angry at their circumstances, angry at the pain they've endured, angry at the idea of a God who would allow them to suffer. Some run because they have convinced themselves that they don't need Him, that they are strong enough, capable enough, independent enough to handle life on their own. But no matter the reason, the result is always the same. There is no true peace in running from God. You can try to fill your life with success, with relationships, with temporary pleasures. You can chase after everything the world tells you will bring happiness. But at the end of the day, when the noise fades, when the excitement wears off, when you are left alone with your thoughts, you will still feel the emptiness. You will still feel the void that only God can fill, because you were not created to live apart from Him. You were not designed to walk this life alone, separated from the one who loves you most. And here's what you need to understand. God is not chasing you to punish you. He is chasing you to save you. He is not pursuing you to make your life miserable. He is pursuing you to give you a life greater than anything you could ever build for yourself. The plans He has for you are bigger. The purpose He has for you is greater. The love He has for you is deeper than anything you have ever known. Think about it. Why would a God so powerful, so sovereign, care so much about you? Why wouldn't He just let you go your own way, let you make your own mistakes, let you face the consequences of your choices without intervention? Because His love for you is not conditional. His love for you is not based on how good you are, how much you deserve it, how perfectly you follow the rules. His love is based on who He is, and He is love. You can't exhaust His grace. You can't reach the end of His patience. You can't run so far that He won't come after you. Look through history. Look through the lives of those who tried to resist Him. Every single one of them found out the same thing. You can fight, you can resist, you can run, but eventually you will have to face the truth, because God is everywhere. You can leave the church, you can avoid prayer, you can surround yourself with people who don't believe, but God will still be there in the quiet moments, in the unexpected encounters, in the moments of desperation when you have nowhere else to turn. He will always be there. But let me warn you, running from God is exhausting. It will wear you down. It will drain you. It will steal your peace. Because trying to live a life apart from the one who created you is like trying to breathe without air. You may survive for a little while, but eventually you will collapse, because we were never meant to live without Him. So let me ask you today, how much longer are you going to run? How much longer are you going to keep pretending that you don't need Him? How much longer are you going to fight against the very one who is trying to save you? Because here's the truth. You can keep running, but you will never outrun His love. You can keep resisting, but His grace will still be there waiting for you the moment you decide to turn around. There is no peace in running. There is no fulfillment in running, but there is freedom in surrender. There is joy in coming home. There is rest in the arms of the one who has been chasing after you, not to harm you, but to heal you. You don't have to run anymore. You don't have to fight anymore. You don't have to live in fear anymore. Turn around, come back to the one who has been waiting for you all along, because no matter how far you have gone, no matter how much you have resisted, His love has never left you, and it never will